Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I'm saving the you-know-what because baby sibling says she's coming on, so I'm going to save it for her because that's her favorite thing. All right. We are on day 2 of 48 ways to practice self-love. I put self-care in the description. I will change it. But yeah, it is self-love. 48 ways to practice self-love. So we are on 17 to 32 today. 17 to 32. All right. So so you know what? It's happening again. I'm feeling that push to pull a card. This is wild. I don't know what's happening this week, but wow. You know, I mean, good morning, Muddy. So yeah, and then we'll get to self-love. I know. So just for those of you that are like, no, not that, just hang in there. All right, just hang in there. Hang in there. Ugh. I have my eye exam tomorrow, and I'm super excited because, wow, my eyes. And it's not age. I've had old lady eyes since I was a kid. I've been wearing glasses forever. So anyways, what's this card? The Dragon Sword. The Dragon Sword. So, you know, let's see. Oh, card number 2. What does the Dragon Sword have to say? The sword of truth doesn't just cut with its blade, it also cuts with words. Consider your words carefully and then tell the truth. Dragons may be many things, but liars they are not. If you want to soar to your full potential and dominate your personal space with a wingspan of power, share your truth. It will set you and others free, even if it bites. It doesn't matter if you think you're a good liar. The truth always comes out. So Sammy says she's been wearing glasses since she was 6. I was 9. Legit 9. So anyways, my hair is out of control today. So anyways, yeah. So here's the fun part, and I'm going to admit this. I forgot that today was the day that I actually started the first version of this show, The Daily Vibe. Yesterday would have been my parents' anniversary, and today is sibling's mom's birthday, Mom Barbara. And, you know, and Mom Barbara has been gone for, since 2002. My mom has been gone since 2014. And, you know, I really, really miss them both. And so, you know, I just, in 2020 is when I started this, and we're, you know, in the very early stages of lockdown. It was, you know, obviously July, and oh my God, I forgot to put on lipstick. Oh well, you'll live. But yeah, we were in the early stages of lockdown, and we didn't know how long it was going to last. We all thought, wow, it's July, maybe we'll be free by now. No, we weren't. So oh my goodness, Sammy's mom's birthday would have been today too. So happy birthday, Sammy's mommy. So yeah, but I was feeling pretty blue that day, and I thought, you know, I had the affirmators. I'm sure you guys remember the affirmators. But I was feeling it hard, and I thought, you know what? I need to do something that'll cheer me up, okay? And, you know, maybe get me through this summer and hopefully back into the, you know, the world opening again. And so I started the Daily Vibe. Now, there was some issues with the name because some lady had, I don't know, I talked about it the other day. I don't want to give it any more energy than I already have because it's ridiculous. But it, you know, eventually in 2021 in November, on my nephew's birthday, no less, and Sissy Joe's birthday, I started the Aloha Perspective. So this was the first version of it, and thank you again, baby sibling, for remembering that. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, because, you know, it was a game changer for me. And, you know, even though I've been on my own healing journey and obviously sharing my healing journey on this, I do, you know, I've helped people along the way, and really I found a lot of personal growth. So I am very pleased. So anyways, we are on 17 through 32 of 48 ways to practice self-love, and this is from Karma Gaia. So we'll, like I said, we'll run through it and then we'll go through it. Okay. So, oh, thank you, Sammy. Yeah, you remember. Oy, what a brouhaha, right? I mean, my gosh, look, I got my coffee. Sorry. Comic-Con schedule comes out today, so I need my coffee. I need actual coffee. So anyways, number 17 through 32, listen to music, take a bath, as in relax. Celebrate small wins, travel, connect with loved ones, help others, declutter your space. Practice positive self-talk, reflect on your day, unplug, set goals, take breaks, laugh, write a letter to yourself, try yoga or Pilates, and stay hydrated. Now, I did make my own notes. I did make my own notes on here. So, yeah, so now remember, these are 48 things, but like I said yesterday, I think they just kind of jotted down 48 things, right? And said, I don't think there's any particular order, because not everything on here is going to resonate with somebody, but the ones that do, take that and utilize it for your own self-love. I mean, they're literally giving you 48 examples. Now, some of them might run into each other, and by that I mean some of them might feel like they're repeating each other, but if you really break it down into how they're the different ways of things, then you can see that they are definitely different. Like take a bath, and then yesterday we had personal hygiene, but take a bath is like relax, you know, just relax, just chill. So let's see. So listen to music. We talked about this the other day, I think. Did we talk about music the other day? Sammy? So, oh, thank you, baby sibling. I just gave good morning. Happy hump day. She said, happy birthday to your show. Thank you. I just let everybody know about that and how it started, and how I literally did not tell you this morning while texting that I forgot. I legit forgot. There was so much brouhaha, as Sammy put it, over the name that I really did forget. So anyways, so number 17, we're on 17 to 32 now, of, again, from Karma Gaia, 48 ways to practice self-love. So listen to music. Oh yeah, that's right. We did music therapy on Monday. Thank you, Sammy. See, best co-host ever. We did music therapy on Monday. She's so cute. That's why I write it all down. You know, usually I do write it down. I do have the Aloha Perspective in my calendar. But like I said, but you know what? I was thinking about that, because I'm like, why didn't I write it down? And I thought, you know what? It's because I gave that lady who gave me a hard time about the name of my show so much power that I let her ruin it for me. And I'm not going to let her ruin it for me. Okay, so you know what? Marie's right. Baby sibling is absolutely right. This was the first iteration of this show, and yeah, it was not easy for me. Baby sibling really kind of inspired me to do these videos, and she encouraged me early on, just saying, no, you're really good at this, and blah, blah, you know, and you help people, and you know, I'm not patting myself on the back, I'm just telling you what she said. So, you know, so I'm glad. So thank you again. Thank you. So, all right, so listen to music. Keep getting distracted. Like I said, a little bit of something, a whole lot of everything. Listen to music. Yes, we did music therapy on Monday, and turns out Sammy is going to know a music therapist soon. So, she's going to school in the fall for that, one of her friend's daughters. So that's pretty awesome. I love the idea of music therapy. So listen to music. We did talk about this, but just as a little bit of refresher from Monday's show, I have playlists coming out of my mind, you know, coming out of my ears, of just different things. And one of them I have is In a Mood, and it's all heavy metal. And actually, it's all heavy metal and one Amazing Grace, which is Andre Rieu's version of Amazing Grace. And if you've ever heard this guy play in concert, I mean, he's a classical violinist, but the way he plays this with the bagpipes and everything is just like, wow, it speaks to my head. So that is it stands out for sure, but you know what? I don't care. It's my playlist. So yeah, listen to music. When in doubt, put on some tunes. Number 18, take a bath, as in relax. Now, If your tub is anything like my tub, I'm literally too tall for my tub, which says a lot because I'm not that tall. I'm only 5'5", but still, you know, it's more about just the relaxing and the just chilling in the water, and really just kind of letting go, right? And if you want to make it spiritual, you can always, you know, just when you're washing off or whatever, you can say, you know, I'm just letting it all go down the drain. So, Sammy says we need to find a heavy metal version of Amazing Grace. I wonder if someone's done one. Okay, that's our goal today. Somebody has to find a heavy metal version of Amazing Grace. Like legit. Okay, they have to. I mean, so was it Disturbed that did The Sound of Silence? So my dad was listening to his phone or something, and you know, I don't know what it is with some people. They got to listen to it on full volume. So anyways, somebody turned it into a techno remix, and I was like, what the hell is that? But anyways, I digress. So yeah, take a bath. You know, you can put in the salts, the Epsom salts, if you just need to, whatever. You can put in the essential oils. Be careful with that though, with the essential oils, because when you're draining the tub, it can make the tub slippery. So please be careful with that. Okay, put the rubber duckies on the bottom. You know, the anti-slipping rubber duckies, or put a bath mat down or something, but it can make it slippery. So please be careful if you use essential oils. You can even put herbs in there, right? But be careful with that too, because you know, everything does go down the drain. You don't want to clog your drain. But so, you know, if you can, pull out as much as you can, or they do make those little sifter thingies. So, you know, and it's all just letting it go down the drain. You can do the same thing if you shower, right? Just washing the day off of you and letting it all go down the drain. You're cleansing your energy. So 19, celebrate the small wins. These are the little things we always talk about, right? The little things, because the little things tend to be the big things, the fun things, the great things. So, you know, celebrate the small wins. It can be as small as I got out of bed today, which for some people is a big thing, you know, just getting out of bed. Or it can be as big as, wow, I stepped outside today. And for some people, that might seem like a little thing. For other people, that's a huge thing. So, you know, just celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the small wins. I'm sorry, I'm looking around because, you know, I put all my hair ties away, but my hair is driving me nuts right now. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, hold on one second. Maybe I have something in here. Oh. This is how you know yourself, when you hide things around your space to you know, whatever. So, and now I'm just like, no, I don't want to pull back my hair. I don't know, I'm sorry, my hair was, I went out to get coffee this morning, so I wasn't really paying attention, but so I mean, I forgot my lipstick. I didn't finish my hair, all the things. So anyways, celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the small wins. 20, travel. Now, here's the thing. The first thing a lot of people will say is, well, traveling takes money, and what if I don't have that? Do a staycation. There was one year that I had completely kind of spaced, you know, vacation time. And it was a busy year for the company and everything. And I did. I totally spaced out what I was going to do. And so I ended up doing a staycation. And I have to tell you, that was one of the most fun things I ever did. I planned something every day during that staycation. You know, Sibling and I did... we did the bodies exhibit, the one where they have the traveling one where you can see the inside of the bodies and stuff like that. We did what else did we do? Oh, we went up to Santa Monica Pier. We went up through Malibu and found this cute little coffee place. It was just, it was fun. It was fun. I went to the beach, you know, and there's so many things that we can do nearby, you know, that don't require a lot of money, if money at all. You know, it's a good way to get to know your area, you know. So there you go. You can travel, and you don't have to travel far, right? I mean, you go down the street. That's traveling. 21, connect with loved ones. So this can go two ways. All right, we're going to step into the metaphysical for a second. I was very grateful, and I got a lot of validation. I have a friend, a very, very close friend of mine, who recently lost her best friend, and her son lost, well, respectively, their daughter and god sister. And I felt this like little energetic poking, and I was able to deliver a very beautiful and welcomed message. And I was a little nervous because, you never know how some people feel about that. And it wasn't something I planned. It wasn't something I tried to do. It was just kind of like, I think they read your energy and they're just like, please, please, please. But connecting with loved ones, today's siblings, like, well, I'm talking to my mom, but obviously I don't hear anything because she struggles. She has a hard time with that. But also connect with your loved ones that are still here. Okay, connect with your loved ones that are still here. A lot of times we get so busy that we forget to check in with our people, and loved ones, it doesn't, we always think loved ones is family, right? But if loved ones are just the people that are in your life that you love 100%. If you haven't seen your best friend in a while or talked to them, give them a shout out, just reach out and like the old AT&T commercial, reach out and touch someone. Okay. Do it legally and do it responsibly. I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood today. But yeah, connect with loved ones. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. You know what? Okay, so here's the thing too. I have to add this. My brain is all over the place. So you all know that there is a part of me that is very spiritual and metaphysical. And right now there's a lot of wild energies floating around out there. I mean, everything it's almost like somebody threw glitter on a blanket and then did this to it and everywhere, right? That's what it feels like. It feels like my energy is shooting in 9 directions all at once, and it's kind of like, and then bouncing back, twice as wildly. So I do apologize, because this is why I think my brain this week is just kind of like, because Sammy and I talked about this yesterday too, that we both feel a bit discombobulated. And there is a reason, for those of you that believe in it, there is a reason. Even if you don't believe in it, okay, even if that's not your thing, if you're feeling a little off and you can't figure out why, this is why. The energies are just wild right now. I mean, people don't think planets can affect things, but planets can affect things. Look at the moon. The moon controls the tides. Speaking of moons, today is the first moon of the full moon cycle, or the first day of the full moon cycle. Tomorrow's a full moon, so keep that in mind, all right? So the next one, help others. That is like a perfect way to have self-love. And, maybe you're shy and you don't want to go out there and like, well, I don't want to volunteer because I don't want to talk to anyone. You can help your people. You can offer to sit with them, to hug them. Hey, you want to go coffee today? Help others. Helping others is a lot of, it comes in a lot of shapes and sizes. But it can ultimately help us feel very connected and, really good about ourselves. I mean, don't do it because, you want to, just do it because it's the right thing to do. Okay, just do it because it's the right thing to do. The next one, 23, declutter your space. You should see my desk right now. It is a mess. It is a mess. It literally looks like my brain feels. And it's a bit cluttered. It is a bit cluttered. And since I've been at my dad's, I've been, collecting all these things because every so often I'll go to McDonald's, but I don't want anything big, right? So I get the Happy Meal, and yes, I do get the toys. But yeah, I have all kinds of unnecessary things in my windowsill. But I love them. I love them all. And, these are things I'm going to have to pack up when I go home too. And I have a little case over there. But yeah, my space is a bit cluttered. And, and sometimes I think there is, a bit of a psychological effect of the clutter. Sometimes I think people do it to nest, right? I mean, birds collect all kinds of things to make their nest, so they're cozy and they're happy and their little eggs are safe. And sometimes I think, just at our basic core, that sometimes I think that's why people have a lot of clutter, because it's like nesting, and it feels safe, like you're surrounded by something keeping you safe, even though it's a mess. I mean, anybody who has ever watched Hoarders, if you have seen the people on this show, you'll know that there's some kind of psychological issue, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they fall under the mental health umbrella. It could be a lot of things that triggers these things, like grief. Just grief can cause a feeling of being despondent, or, and like I said, grief covers everything. It's not just losing somebody to, passing away. It could be a lot of different things across the board. It's losing something that was important to you, something that, was a part of you. And so that can cause it. But then it becomes overwhelming, and, people are like, whoa, what happened? And then you kind of snap to, and now you're overwhelmed, and your anxiety is peaking because, you realize that, your inactivity has caused this. And so it's a vicious cycle. All right. So declutter your space. You can do it little by little. Just do it little by little. Take a section, I'm trying to figure out what to do with everything here, because, at home, everything has a place, but here I just, I have to pile. So anyways, 24, practice positive self-talk. So please stop shaming yourself. I used to be very fabulous at shaming myself. I talked about this yesterday when we went through 1 through 16, about how, just the way my brain fires in different directions lately, and I squirrel a lot. Squirrel. I tend to squirrel a lot. And I've always been that way, but I don't think I ever wanted to admit it, because that meant, there was just something wrong with us, right? But now I just embrace all my flaws and imperfections. I mean, the way my brain fires off sometimes, it's my personality, it's my character. That's how I am. And a lot of times it could be my mental health falling under the mental health umbrella. And a lot of times, I don't know, like I said, and I mean no disrespect to someone who might have this. Sometimes I really do think I have ADD. I don't know why, but sometimes I think I do, because it's just like, but also when we struggle with mental health issues, if you are a person with a dinged up mental health, this can affect your focus. And when our focus is affected, and, when we feel like we can't think straight, or maybe you have trauma brain and you're trying to make everything perfect and nothing is working out right, and you're just kind of wigging out in 9 directions and having an anxiety attack, you are going to have a moment or 2 or 50 where you fall into the negative self-talk. Stop it. Shelley Marie has told you to stop it. And why? Because our brain, everything that we say, our brain will hear and process. The kinder you are to yourself, even in the most dire of situations, the better you are going to come out of it. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to have these moments where we will have negative self-talk, like, I should have done that, but correct it as soon as you can. Shaming ourselves does nothing except make it worse. Shaming ourselves does nothing but tear us down more. Maybe you grew up in an environment where unkind words were spoken to you all the time. Maybe you were bullied when you were growing up. I was bullied when I was growing up. And that can add to your negative self-talk, because you don't feel like you're good enough. You don't feel, cute enough, or happy enough, or smiley enough. And there's enough people out there telling you what's wrong with you. But remember, when you point your finger, look, there's 3 more pointing back at you. So everybody pointing a finger at you, there's 3 pointing back at them. And, for whatever reason that people feel like they have to bully other people, don't give them your power. As older sibling has taught me over the last 25 years, take your power back. Take your power back. Because you are the one that holds all the power when it comes to you. What other people think of you is none of your business. I still make what other people think of me my business, and I'm really, really working on that, because I realize that, what they think of me, that's their problem. That's not my problem. I was joking with with baby sibling this morning, sending her a French thing. So I am great. But, but I didn't take it back. I didn't say, I'm just kidding. No, I was just like, you know what? She knows my sense of humor. I'm sending it, and I'm not going to apologize for it. So, we practice the positive self-talk. Okay, practice the self-love. And if you're not sure where to start with this one. I am enough. Get a dry erase marker. All right. And find a surface, a mirror. Okay, not just any surface. All right. Find a wipeable surface. But you can put it on your bathroom mirror. I am enough. Or any kind of positive self-talk. My cousin Trez taught me that. Her and her husband leave each other cute little messages on their mirrors. But, and just find a way. Because remember, what do I always say? What you speak is what you hear. It's what your brain is going to process, and it's going to be what you see. So if you are constantly speaking negatively about yourself, you're going to start seeing that. And that's going to be a hard habit to break. Because the more negative self-talk that you present to this world, the more you're going to believe it. So stop. All right. Don't let other people tear you down. If you think you're a good person, and you're a good person, and you do things for people and you don't think twice about it, don't let somebody else tear you down. That's their own jealousy. That's their own issue. They probably have something in their life that they have to fix that they don't know how to face. Sometimes when people get mad and lash out, it's not always about us. It's about them. It just may feel like it's about us because we may provide that little matchstick that lights the fuse. Unintentionally, most times. But then poof, So, okay, number 25, reflect on your day. This is a good one, okay? We kind of talked about this yesterday, right? With maintaining a gratitude journal. That was number 2. Reflecting on your day, going back through your day, find something that brought you joy. Okay. If I were to I've been up for a couple of hours, but if I were to just go, okay, I'm going to bed now, I would reflect on the fact that I got up early enough to make time to grab myself some coffee. And that may not seem like a big thing to anybody. That's a huge thing for me. That's a huge thing for me because sometimes I just get really lazy before my show and I'm just kind of like, oh, I got to put on my makeup now. There's no effort. Like yesterday, I threw my hair up and I put on my eyebrows. That's it. And I think that was more for me so I could see them. But today I forgot my lipstick. It's like, who cares? But, reflecting on your day, going back through it, that can also calm your mind and it can put you in a good place. Maybe somebody, brought you a pen or somebody brought you coffee. When I was working, every so often my coworker Shannon, love her to death. She was like, hey, I'm stopping at Dunkin' Donuts. You want some coffee? And it's like, sure. And she's like, what do you want? And I'm like, just milk. And she's like, okay. But after a while, she stopped asking me and they would just appear on my desk. So if I wasn't at my desk, it would just appear and I'd be in her doorway going, oh my God, I love you. Thank you so much. And it got to the point too, where she realized I drank decaf, much to my chagrin. And she started getting me decaf. And I'm just like, damn, but, I always tried to pay her. She always said no. But she's like, no. She's like, I was just going and I know you like their coffee. I love their coffee. And she's like, okay, well, thank you. And that's something special. And a lot of people wouldn't think anything of it. They'd be like, oh, hey, thanks for the coffee. But it wasn't about the coffee. It was the fact that somebody thought of me and thought enough of me to bring me that. Because she didn't bring everybody stuff. She just brought me coffee. And, maybe one of her coworkers a donut or something. So, it was just, that's the thought, right? Or maybe you did something. Maybe you stopped in the road so a squirrel could cross the street. Meanwhile, everyone's honking behind you going, just run it over. No, you did a great thing. You saved the squirrel. Although sometimes I think, it's like that Geico commercial, sometimes I think those squirrels do this stuff on purpose. Naughty little buggers. But yeah, reflect on your day. Even if it's a bad day, find something good about it. Especially if it's a bad day, find something good about it. You know, and you may not think that there's anything good in that day, but there is something, I promise you. There is a tiny little nugget that is screaming at you going, see me, see me. You know, like, excuse me. Our weather is funky, so my sinuses are draining. Sammy said squirrels are suicidal. No, you know what? They're adrenaline junkies. That, you know, you go with that, and I'm going with they're adrenaline junkies. There's a commercial too for DirecTV where these two pigeons are talking and this squirrel comes up and she just like, it's like somebody gave her cocaine or something. I mean, she is just wired. And that's why people call people squirrely, because they're like, what? And I told my dad, I said, that's how I feel right now. That is totally me. I am that squirrel. But just like, what? You know? So anyways, so reflect on your day. Number 26, unplug all of it. Unplug it all. So, you know, if you're trying to wind down at night and you're afraid you're going to miss something, stop it. Okay. I know it's harder for the kids nowadays. And I say the kids nowadays because I was born in the 70s. All right. I'm a straight up right in the middle of the pile Gen Xer. So, I mean, like, there's no going this way and no going that. I'm right smack dab in the middle of being a Gen X. But, you know, we grew up, you know, all of us before technology, that were adults when real technology came along. So, Sammy says, there's a sign in my neighborhood in someone's yard that says, slow down, the squirrels are suicidal. I love that sign. And I want to high five the person that put that in their yard. That is hilarious. That is funny. They're crazy. They are crazy. Okay? I mean, like, literally crazy. And yet they're so cute, right? They're just all like, oh, hello. I know. My brain is squirrely right now. But yeah, unplug all of it. All of it. So what I was saying was, back in the day, most of us that, you know, have a cell phone now, and it became more accessible than those bricks people used to carry around, you know, like an American Psycho. Remember that movie? Wow. But, I mean, cell phones are accessible nowadays, and kids nowadays have no idea what it was like to live without technology. For a family to not have a personal computer, or to not have a laptop, or to not have some kind of personal device, right? We had to deal with this. I mean, there was a time when we needed a ride, we had to use a payphone. That's right. Those are those weird looking things that have the receiver on them that are just randomly on the street. Or if you see a little booth with nothing in it, a telephone used to be there. I mean, it got to the point where we call phones, the telephones that we just grew up with, landlines now. Landlines. Okay, landlines. But, so I get it. I get how hard it can be for some people to turn everything off. Sometimes we just have to. Just unplug. Just unplug. I mean, when it says unplug, it doesn't mean let everything in your house die. Okay, you know, let all the batteries run out. No, it just means give yourself a moment to just breathe. I admit, I'm a little addicted to my phone. I have a lot of games on there. And, you know, a lot of times I will sit there and I'll say, well, it helps my anxiety. And it does to some degree, but I also think in a way it starts to feed into my anxiety, because then it's like, oh my God, I got a task to do. I got this, I got that. So it's kind of like, And I've noticed that cutting back, especially in social media, my anxiety is so much better. I mean, I'm not a person that ever thought I had anxiety, but wow, right now, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this. I don't mean to make it political, but anyway. So, and unplugging doesn't mean just, you know, putting away your phone and all that. Unplugging can also mean, you know, just don't doom scroll. Stop doom scrolling at night. Stop going on your phone and scrolling through everything and going, the world. Good morning, Eileen. I just saw her pop on. Good morning, Eileen. I'm sending you lots and lots of lovin's today, my friend. So, Eileen's basically family too. You know, I'm just going to start calling her my cousin. She's like my cousin. So, you know, but, yeah, I see you. I'm sending lots of lovin's your guys' way today. So unplug. And like I said, unplugging can mean anything across the board. Just step away, back away from the social media, back away from the computer. And, you know, if you're worried, like maybe a parent or something, there are favorites, and the favorites will go through. So even if you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, these people that are in your little starred area, at least on the iPhone, they will come through, you know, so you don't have to worry about that. Number 27, set goals. Set goals. They don't have to be big goals. You know, I have the Finch app, and the Finch app is this tiny little burb, and you create a relationship with this burb, but it's a self-care app. And what you do is you have all these little quests, and then you send her on adventures, and she learns things, and you can chat with her, sort of, you know. It's not actual chatting. They give you two options, or you can write your own response, and then it tells you, you know, like, there's a lot of things that my burb, it's a burb, B-I-R-B, dislikes that I love. But it's nice because it makes you check in with yourself. And you can put your own little quests up there, or they offer you ideas in case, you know, you don't really, if your brain doesn't fire that way. So, yeah, you can set goals. Every morning I just protect my energy. Every morning I drink my water. Every morning I have one that on there that just says just be. I have another one that says I matter. And, you know, it's little things like that. Sometimes I think we think goals are like, oh, I'm going to start college today and tomorrow I'm going to graduate. It's unrealistic, right? Because that doesn't happen. If you want to go to school and you want to get a degree, absolutely go do it. 100%. But setting goals doesn't have to be this long-term goal. It can be little things that you do every day. You can look in the mirror. I am enough. You can practice your positive self-talk. You know, maybe do the dishes. Do the dishes before whatever time. You know, and these can be the goals that you set. And the more that you accomplish them and the more you check them off, you know, the more you're going to start to feel good about yourself and maybe feel like you're coming back into who you are. So let's see. 28, take breaks. I love breaks. But I'll admit, I never took them when I was at work. Oh, well, I can't say never. I rarely took them when I was at work. Even when they would force me. I mean, come on, it's dumb. When I first started working a bazillion years ago, we used to get 15-minute breaks or 20-minute breaks because they knew it would take us like 5 minutes just to get to the canteen area. Now they give you 10 minutes. When I was working at the company I was working at, we were on the 8th floor. It would take me like 5 minutes just to get out the front door. And then you got to go back. But fortunately, they didn't really enforce the time. It was just kind of like, you know, do your thing. Good morning, Beth. Hi. Just stopping by to say hi. Hello. It's a sibling's cousin. I call her my cousin too, but you know, it's sibling's cousin. So yeah, take breaks. Take breaks. Don't forget to take that break. Take your water break, take your coffee break, take whatever kind of break you need. If you're not a person at work, just, you know, get up from whatever it is you're doing and, you know, walk around your house or something, but take a break. Take a break from whatever it is that you were doing in that moment when you start to feel restless. 29, laugh. We've been doing a lot of laughing the last couple of days. Oh, there you go. She says she's doing well, taking a break from work now. Yay. See, taking a break. Number 28, taking a break. So laugh. Laughing. I'm going to butcher this quote, but Lord Byron said laughter is the best medicine. And I'm not sure that's exactly how it went, but maybe it is. I don't know. Now, this was a guy who was a hot mess. All right. I mean, absolute genius writer, but a completely hot mess. But probably laughed his way out of it. Well, I'm going to giggle my way out of this, you know? So yeah, I love giggling. I can't help it. Sometimes it just happens. And, like I'll be reading something and giggles. I am so sorry. I do not know what's going on in my throat. I mean, it just, like I said, my sinuses are draining. So, but yeah, laughing can be absolutely 100% amazeballs. All right. So just find something to laugh at. Watch cat videos. Even if you don't like cats, watch cat videos. I told older sibling, because, you know, right now the cats are home with her while I'm at my dad's taking care of him. And we'll send each other cat videos. And I just laugh because sometimes I'll just send it to her with a message that says, I don't understand how these animals can be so smart and so stupid at the same time. It's just, you know, they're living, breathing beings. So we can be so smart and so stupid at the same time as well. So number 31. I'm skipping number 30 until the last one because that one comes with something else. So try yoga or Pilates. Now, I realize yoga or Pilates is not for everybody, okay? There is chair yoga. I'm not sure if there's chair Pilates, but there is chair yoga for those people who might have disabilities or an inability to stand for certain long periods of time. But someone has invented that, so yay, it exists. But I want to add Tai Chi or Qigong, okay? They are two different things. They both work with your Qi, which is your inner energy, or your energy. So, you know, your Qi. So, and now if you look up Qigong, you got to look it up under QI, because that's how it's spelled, QI, Qigong. And just gong, like the Gong Show. Oh God, no, you guys are probably too young. Many of you are probably too young to remember the Gong Show. I remember the Gong Show. I barely remember that. I was a little kid, but wow. Anyways, but yeah, Tai Chi. Tai Chi is great. I love Tai Chi. Sometimes I'll throw in the Qigong, but yeah, it's just really to kind of center your energy. But these are really good low impact exercises. And when I say low impact, I mean low impact on your joints, but you can feel it. You can feel, if you do it enough and you do it daily, you can start to feel it. There's a 5-minute Tai Chi thing I do, and there's a 11-minute Qigong thing I have done. And I can feel I can feel the body just kind of moving and gaining that strength. So if you're not into yoga or Pilates, or you don't feel like you have the talent to do either, I mean, come on. Both of those require, there's a reason there are beginner stages for everything. I mean, a weightlifter doesn't just go into the gym and lift 400 pounds without it causing some kind of, you know, issue later. No, they work their way up to it. You build up the tolerance. So, you know, if you want to try yoga and you don't think you're good at it, don't worry, because these people are Zen, all right? And they're going to help you through it, and they're going to teach you how to do it. And then one day you'll turn around and you'll be that person going, it's okay. You know what? I've been where you're at. Don't worry about it. Just do your thing. So, and number 32, stay hydrated. Stay hydrated, my friends. Stay hydrated. Especially now in summer. Boy, it was like, I left the house to get my coffee at 7:30, and it was already hot. It's going to be like in the 90s today, Fahrenheit. So, oof, indeed. But yeah, stay hydrated. Please, please, please drink your water. If you cramp a lot, like in your legs or something, you're probably dehydrated. You can do the skin test too. You know, oh, see, I'm a little dehydrated. So if you do, my friend who's a nurse taught me this. She says, if you do this and your skin snaps back, you're hydrated. Mine is, I know it's hard to see, but you can see it just kind of slowly goes down because I'm not hydrated yet this morning. But, that's your hydration test. Okay. And if it takes forever to go back, you really need to tank that water. So, oh, Sammy says, if you want to try yoga, just start stretching on your own every day. It helps so much. I love stretching. I do. I mean, sometimes I don't even YouTube whatever. I'll just stretch. And then, as I said, I've been going down to the pool. I will not be going to the pool today because it is hot. And everyone, you're probably all going, but that's the best time to go. But I have to walk back up that hill. And I mean, it is hot. It was hot outside. So, yeah, the sun and I do not get along. I mean, well, I should say it's not that we don't get along. The summer sun and I have a very complicated relationship, as I've mentioned. So, number 30, this one was write a letter to yourself. So I did this the other day when I was writing all this down. I wrote it on the 7th. Yeah, I wrote it on the 7th. So that was the day we did music therapy. And I wrote myself a letter and I thought, you know what, just to give you guys an idea, I'm going to open myself up, all right? And I'm going to share this. I'm going to share what I wrote. So it may sound like I'm talking to myself, and then it may sound like I just stopped talking to myself and just fell into the thing. But so just bear with me, all right? But yeah, write a letter to yourself and write a self-love letter to yourself. Now, here's the thing. You might write a letter to yourself. After you're done writing it, fold it up, put it away, and in a couple of days, read it again. And look at it with fresh eyes. I haven't looked at this since I wrote it. So honestly, I can't really remember what I said in it because I was like, I'm going to, write this. And I think when we read it through the second time, we're like, oh, okay. But I wanted to keep it fresh for everybody else that came on. So, so here we go. All right. Dear Shelly Marie, well, here we are. The self-care list. Oh, it's the self-love list. I don't know why I keep calling it the self-care list. The self-care list said to write a letter to myself. Yet there is only one thing I can think of right now, and it's the journal entry I just posted in my journal about needing my mom's forgiveness and not receiving it. This is what I wrote. So here's the thing, Shelly Marie. What Mama or anyone else in the world thinks doesn't matter. You made a choice, now own it. You do not need anyone's forgiveness to feel better about yourself, regardless of how you reached the decision. You made a choice that was the right one for you at the time. So you need to let go and let go of it once and for all. Stop letting this one thing and your need for validation that will never come define you. I was speaking of the abortion I had when I was just 22. To the day she died, my mother would not talk to me about it, and even on her deathbed, she would not forgive me for it. P.S. While writing this, The Gift of a Thistle was playing, and then Reflections played. This is my validation that it was all part of my growth and journey. I'll get back to that in a second. Rewriting all of that into this journal or this letter brings me to a new place and reminds me it's time to let go. I can't change it or take it back, but it reminds me to be compassionate with others going through any life-changing decision. It's hard to say what defines us, but when I breathe my last, I can only hope to be remembered for what I tried to put into this world through all the ups and downs. My journey has often felt like being shot out of a cannon and exploding, yet here I am in one piece and sorry, I can't read my writing. Here I am in one piece and able to look back and say, I overcame all that. If I can, we all can, or we can at least try. I realize not everyone will survive their journey, but I am grateful I did. Believe and trust, Shelly Marie, in everything and all things. You've come this far, so keep going. Those who love you, and those who judge you probably need a big, long hug. Show compassion to those people and do your best to not pass judgment on them as well. We all have our proverbial demons, but with love, compassion, and empathy, we can help one another slay those nasties. Chin up, keep moving forward, and don't forget to smile because your excellent resting bitch face can be scary and off-putting. I'm sorry. Sometimes when I start writing, so this is the funny thing. When I'm in a healing stage, my writing gets kind of wonky, and I can tell that it's something that I'm struggling with because my writing gets a little illegible. Illegible? Is that the word? So anyways, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I had to make a very hard decision when I was young, and the person I was dating at the time, when I said, however I came to that decision, I'm getting fidgety now. Kind of convinced me to do it. But, and then later told me, well, you're the one that decided to do it. But he didn't want kids. And I was so in love that I was like, okay, and he was older. But yeah, I mean, it's something that I let haunt me for far too long. It's something I punished myself for far too long. And it's something that I always sought my mother's forgiveness for that she would never give. And, Dad and I were watching a show the other day, and this actual subject came up with one of the characters, and I was just like, it just made me think about that. And I think that's why I wrote that in my journal that day, because it was bothering me for the next day and a half after that show, to the point where on Monday I did journal it just before I started writing all this stuff down for this show. But we make decisions in life, and whether we are forced to make these decisions, or we feel like we're forced to make these decisions, or we shame ourselves because we'll sit there and go, well, ultimately they're right, it was my decision. There's a lot of different factors that go into things, okay? Because people will always say no one can make you do what you don't want to do, but that's not true. It depends on the situation. It depends on what we're going through. It depends on, if there's been trauma in a childhood or not. And so when we make these comments, well, no one can force you to do what you don't want to do, it's kind of insensitive. And I think sometimes we make these comments that kind of come off the cuff, because I think we don't know how to deal with these things. We're unclear of how to deal with it. So we hit below the belt, and it may not feel like we're hitting below the belt, but in essence, we're, intentional or not, hitting below the belt. I don't know why my mom wouldn't forgive me, but she wouldn't. To the day she died, she did not. So, for 20 years, I was seeking her validation. For 20 years, I was hoping that she would forgive me, and she never did. And for the next 10 years, that bothered me. For the last 10 years, it was kind of like, I can't believe this. And in the last couple of years, to be honest, and especially the last couple of months, I realized, you know what? It's something I can't change. This happened 30 years ago. And I do think about what it would have been like to be, I would have been a very young parent. I was in my very early 20s. But I wonder, I'm not going to lie, I wonder what would I, that would seem to be the only chance I had at being a mom. And people will say, well, you blew it and you did this. And it's like, you know what? I made the decision. However I got to that decision, it was made. And for those of you, if it's that kind of decision or some other kind of decision, you have to do what's best for you. Okay? Don't let other people shame you. My last boyfriend I had, I'm the one that broke up with him. There were a lot of underlying factors as to why. It broke my heart. It was very painful. It took me several years to move past that, and I think at least a decade to really kind of reconcile it in my mind. But I knew it was the right choice for me. Now, I've been single for what it feels like an eternity, but when I look back at that relationship and how unhealthy it was, even being single for as long as I've been single, I have grown. I have practiced the self-love. I have learned self-care. I still have to practice self-love and self-worth because I still struggle with it from time to time. And then when I feel like I'm getting better, I struggle with well, I don't want someone to think I have an ego. So, that's a double-edged sword as well. But you know what? The people, as I said in my letter, the people who love you will love you. They know who you are. When I was joking around with baby sibling and saying, oh yeah, in French, je suis génieux. I'm awesome. I'm great. And I didn't apologize for it because she knows my humor. And I realized I don't need to apologize for that because she knows my humor. She knows I don't walk around, doing my John Travolta strut going, yeah, I'm awesome. I'm awesome. I should say the Saturday Night Fever one, But the reason I'm sharing all this is because healing all these things that hurt us, not receiving the validation or the forgiveness or whatever it is that we think we need, can hurt us. It can affect our self-love. It can skew everything. One of the reasons, even though it took me nearly a decade to find and really get a solid footing in this healing, is because I held back. But I was lucky that I have a support system. I was lucky that I have people that I can turn to. I was lucky that I have people that I can make a promise to about, making sure that I stay alive for them. Because, and for me as well, but on those days where I don't give a shit about myself, I made that promise to them because I know I will keep it for them and basically what it's doing is it's me saying, thank you for holding space for me until I can get back to who I am. And sometimes it's all we need. We just need someone to be compassionate. We need someone to listen, to hear us. And it's not always easy. Like I said, not everybody is going to survive this journey. Not everyone is going, and I've always known that. When I started healing, there were people that I knew on Twitter that were suddenly just gone. And not gone because they left social media, gone because they left. And if my friend of mine, she left. And, it blows our minds. We're not sure why the choice was made, how the choice was come to. But whatever it is, I like to think that they're just free now. And they're safe to be who they always wanted to be, but just never felt comfortable being. And that's the way I try to look at things now. I am grateful 100% every day for my support group, baby sibling, older sibling, Eileen, Muddy, Bestie, all these people that help me. My friend Debbie helped me stay here and hold space for me when I feel like I'm just, having an out-of-body experience. So anyways, these are your 17 through 32, day 2 of 48 ways to practice self-love. So, just think about all these things and, don't be afraid to apply them to your life. Especially the celebrating small wins, the practicing positive self-talk. If you're going to take anything out of these are the ones that I think you should do. Write a letter to yourself, read it in a week, and then see if there's something that you need to work on. And I don't mean just write this, love letter to yourself. Be very honest in your letter. I wrote this letter and I thought, I have grown so much. And I look back at it and I read it and I was like, wow, you know what? That day on Monday, I realized I don't need to prove anything to anyone except myself. And that set me free. I may never have received my mother's forgiveness, but I realize now I don't need it. I needed to forgive myself. The only person's forgiveness that mattered was mine. And I have reconciled this in my mind a million times, and I've reconciled the fact that it was a decision that needed to be made at the time, and it was made. I did not have a good, stable mental health back then, so the way I try to look at it now, and not as an excuse, is I broke a cycle. Because I was not going to be capable of being mentally well enough. I mean, I didn't have my depression under control until probably the last 10 years, really. And the last 5, really. And then the last 2, where it's like, I'm just like, okay, this is what it is. And now I deal with it. All right. So those are the ones. Write a letter to yourself, laugh. Practice your self-talk, positive self-talk. And where was the other one? Celebrate your small wins. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I know not everybody's on now again, but baby sibling, Muddy, Eileen, Elizabeth, Beth. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public. Anybody can watch under Shelley Marie Lucas. And we will finish 33 through 48 tomorrow, day 3 of 48 ways to practice self-love. All right. So again, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying on. And, and thank you to those who are in my support group for holding space for me. And I always hold space for you guys. All right. So again, have a great day and thank you so much for watching.